You've eaten Gotham's wealth, its spirit, but your feast is nearly over.
This is not my home. It's an operating table. And I'm the surgeon. Why aren't you laughing?
From this moment on, none of you are safe.
Welcome to the Batman Book Club, a podcast exploring the Dark Knight Library. I'm your host, Ryan Lauer. The Batman Book Club is a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network, hosted by Batman on Film. Just go to batmanonfilm.com, click on podcasts, and you'll find the Batman Podcast Network that has a whole list of other Bat-related shows that also like to dive into other nerdy subjects. Great shows, like one straight out of Gotham. Batman Book Club is also on Patreon. If you like what's going on with the show and you want to help support the show and keep those generators running in the Wayne Manor study, join some of these very generous others who have chipped in on Patreon. Patreon.com/TheBatmanBC. Now, thank you for listening to episode 159, Batman in June. It's another month ended, so that means another monthly wrap-up of new Batman comics, and I never do this alone. I do it with Italy's favorite. Italy's favorite. No, let's keep it with the Italians. Their favorite frolicker representative, Peter R. Verra. Peter, thanks for coming back on the Batman Book Club.
I don't frolic. That's a lie.
Peter's parked for frolicking.
I do not know.
You still don't know what that is because you haven't listened to that episode. But Garrett and I
don't know what that is. I don't listen
exactly.
to Garrett shows.
You should have. Well, it was Garrett on this show. It was a great conversation.
I don't listen to Garrett's shows. I don't even listen to the podcast he hosts.
And we have a great idea with it. Many people are in support of. So can't wait. Peter's Park for frolicking. PPFF. How you doing?
That sounds like a category in fantasy football.
PPFF.
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 I'm all right. Hanging out. I'm doing better than the Flash.
That's true. You are so I mentioned your show, Straight Outta Gotham, hosted by you and the Champion of Long Island, which people that listen to this, I think, are pretty damn aware of Straight Outta Gotham.
Okay.
We got a new episode out on that. We'll talk about that at the end.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's talk about all of it.
We just dropped one. It's okay. No big deal. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about you.
Eric Holzman.
If we talked about Eric Holzman, we'd just be another group of people talking about Eric Holzman and his feats of achievement and wonder and how much better he is than all of us.
He hasn't been on this show in a long time. I can't get him to read comics.
He's busy. I mean, between the Aquaman movie and the Holzman documentary. And I'm pretty sure he's going to get Holzman in Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think him and Haas are working on that.
Ooh,
yeah.
All right. Well, there we go.
Start
a Kickstarter for that or something.
And I think Haas is writing the official Nintendo documentary on Holzman, so they're collaborating on that as well.
Going to be a bestseller. Pete, our list here for this month is not what it used to be. So let's get talking about Batman comics released.
Does that make you happy or are you upset about that?
I don't know. I'm not upset about it. It was a bit overwhelming. It was a daunting task for us to do these there for a long stretch because we had a lot of Batman books to talk about, and DC has cut back on those. And I don't know specifically the reasons why, but I don't know. I think a lot of people complained also that all it is Batman comics and nobody else. Well, they're starting to spread it out a little bit more and have more comics of their other characters. And also people buy Batman comics. So I don't know. How do you feel about it?
There were times I kind of it was like a task that I wanted to just tackle. Like when you get to December, excuse me, and there's I don't know, 50 issues of Batman you have to read. You're just kind of how am I going to do this? It was kind of like a challenge or something, at some points it was fun to do. And at some points it was completely I have no time to do this at all. There were
especially when some of those were 60-page urban legends,
Well, you cheated and didn't read all of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I did that with Brave and Bold. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I have.
I
Same
pulled a
here.
Lauer.
Yep, same here. Some of them I'll dip into.
So,
Not. But
but
anyways, let's start with, as we always do, the first issue of each month is the Batman title. Batman issue 136. This is coming off of last month's very appreciated celebratory issue 900, 135, which was really cool. This, I wasn't exactly sure of the placement of this issue. It's part of the Dawn of DC, obviously written by Chip Zdarsky with art from, I'm going to butcher, and it's not the last name I'm going to butcher, it's the first name here. Belen Ortega? I don't know. I didn't know if she's going to continue on in like
see, that's
further
rough
issues,
because
or
you
is
can't
just
even
this
use like
one?
initials.
Yeah, it's like B Ortega. And
You don't want to call them BO.
no, Bo.
Bo's probably more of a appreciated than like, so BO on this issue over here.
But it seems like when I looked after reading this issue, I looked up. I don't think she's on the next one, and I'm not talking about the Night Terrors issues. I'm talking about when Batman 137 comes out.
Got a bit
I
of a
don't think
rotating door here, huh?
she's not attached to it. Yeah. So, I mean, this is just a one shot from her, but I actually really liked her art in this. I
Yeah.
thought the art was really good.
Mhm.
I'd like more of it to see what else she can do. The story itself has remaining aspects of Zernar, which I thought maybe, I know it would be silly for me to think considering the last page of the last issue, but I was like kind of thinking / hoping that Zernar was done. Doesn't look like it. Looks like it's lingering here.
Oh,
So
you don't have to tell me.
Zdarsky's cooking up more with that angle, but I don't know with that. But the Cobblepot children, I really like
Yeah,
planting the seeds for them and how they're going to be a focal point going forward. I think,
I do too, considering Ozzy's dead, and that rubbed me the wrong way.
quote
Really.
unquote.
Yeah.
Don't you
well,
remember? You remember the backup story, don't you?
Yeah, I
It was
know.
in the
I'm
fail
just,
safe.
I'm just
Okay. Yeah.
saying. In theory, Ozzy, like
In theory,
I'm
there we
still
go.
supposed to think Ozzy's dead,
Yes.
right? Like until I see him like squawking with his monocle, he's dead.
Back in Gotham with his monocle. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's running a flower shop in
exactly,
another town.
exactly. I dig this a lot. Like I like this. I like this so much more than Detective. It's not even funny. The aspects of just Bruce Wayne and the team and dealing with just like what's it called, Mr. Not I was gonna say Mr. Miracle, Mr. Terrific.
Mhm.
It makes me kind of forget about the hand, and then there's some Selena stuff. The panel with the kids is really great, and later in the issue before the backup story. Yeah, this feels like a Batman tale to me, and I can kind of look past stuff I don't like Javi's Batman in the purple here, because at least it's well written. Like I'm getting like at least the failsafe stuff I wasn't digging, and the others are in our stuff I didn't like at all. But I think this story's a little bit better, so I'm enjoying this, and just I don't know, this seems to be a little bit more Batman than what we've been getting before, but I don't know. There's some weird there's some weird choices here.
In with the Zernar stuff, I just like, oh man,
Well,
I
even
just
that Zernar, and still, I'm like, I'm not over the. I still can't. Like, I know he's got this stupid robot hand.
yeah, the robot hand. I for some reason thought, and I know you and I talked on the phone this month, and I asked you about that, and I'm like, maybe I need to reread that issue from last month because I thought the hand was repaired and it was back to normal. But then obviously you see when you open this that he's covering it up with a glove, and it's like, oh, the black glove. That okay, maybe that's not, but maybe I can get along with.
Oh, I didn't make that
whatever.
connection. Oh wow, look at you.
Can overlook it. The Zernar stuff I'm just not wild about, and so it's nothing against Zdarsky because it has its fans, and I don't think he's I don't want to say abused the inclusion of it. It's an aspect that I just am not really a fan of. Doesn't connect with me. But everything else you touched on, like, yeah, I love. It's almost like a little bit of a Falcone angle here of bringing in family to mob types running criminal empire with Addison and Aiden Cobblepot, and Batman's going to be included with them. I like that. That's getting more, like you said, of more Batman, more down and maybe gritty, a possibility of getting gritty, as well as we know there's
Not
something
even gritty, but just unfantastical.
street level
like,
crime.
Yeah, street level. I'll say that. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of where I like my Batman the best.
And I'm
with
cool with
street
that.
level.
That's what I want.
Like if I want to, if it, because like I feel like Detective is trying to be like a more, not necessarily a global, but more of a grander scale. They're trying to get Raws involved, all this other stuff. They're trying to go more
supernatural
global,
elements and stuff.
global, and it's just not clicking. Whereas this is exactly what you said, street level. That's why it's working for me.
Yep.
Even if
Same
you
here.
include Skittles Batman.
And it's and it's also including or planning to see that I know that there is Batman Catwoman crossover story coming post Night Terrors. And so I think this is starting to, bring Selena back with that. And
I love that Selena stuff, by the way.
Yeah, that's great. And I really like when Batman crashes in on the Cobblepots. I mean, that page I really like more so. I do like
he
him
looks incredible
standing tall, but then I actually like the panel at the bottom where he's kind of in shadow. Like I don't know, those two, like that page just really stands out to me.
There's
really
two
like
shots of him on gargoyles a few pages later that's kind of breathtaking. There's an action shot of him with the grapnel gun that I like when he's first talking to Selena. You like shadow shots. There's a great one there.
Yeah. So
the book is really well drawn and a lot of emotion
does
too.
A great job.
Yeah, like she likes using like the area under the cowl, like basically the exposed part of the cowl to show a lot of emotion. Like she uses his cheeks and his mouth to kind, you can get a real read on what he's thinking and how he feels by looking at his face.
Mm-hmm.
This the Selena almost kind of feels very Jim Lee. Like I'm looking at her face.
Do you think
it's like Arkham Origins meets Jim Lee? This art, you could tell what influenced.
Did you think when Batman walked into the kitchen at the manor at the end that it was all a dream?
I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper, every day up in the limousine. I don't know.
Did.
Like they really sold me in that. Well, here's the thing. When are they all together and able to do like like once every 4 years, everyone's in the same spot at the same time. I feel like the Bat Family's always constantly in motion. And they're all getting along.
Yeah.
It is too good to be true. And you don't realize what it is until the final page.
Yeah, which is,
it did give me kind of Death of the Family vibes, like when like the Joker has them all like dead. Like I kind of went back to that a little bit.
Yeah. And then the backup story of the Zur cave, if you will. Like maybe it's a little interesting, but also, it just deals with Zur-En-Arrh, where again I'm kind of like,
well, as soon as I saw Failsafe, I got zoned out.
Yeah.
Or the robot, another, you know what I'm saying? Like I just.
Although I did think that so the artist on the backup is Jorge Corona.
Feels like
I did think that the cowl kind of reminded me of Beware the Batman a little bit.
Yeah, I can see what you're talking about. Yeah, I see a lot of that.
So overall, I think I wrote the review for BOF. I think I might have given it a B+. I think, and that's kind of where I stand on this issue. I think still,
I think it's fair.
I'm hesitant on the Zur-En-Arrh stuff, but as an issue as a whole, it's not like it was anything remotely bad or anything like that. I thought it was good. Entertaining. The next week, the Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries, number 9. Peter, did you read this one?
I did not have time to get this one in.
Couldn't get it in. This one was a lot of fun. It opened up
any
Scrappy
sighting?
No Scrappy. But it did open up with a pup named Scooby-Doo.
Well, I'll have to buy it. Then you know I'm a sucker for pup name. Oh, just one page?
It's just one page. Yeah. But it's cool. The story itself is cool.
Is Red Herring there?
No.
Yeah, it's tough sell. No Scrappy, no Red Herring.
Tough sell. But
I'm actually a little surprised there hasn't been any Scrappy. There has not been one Scrappy appearance in any of these. I think that's kind of bogus. I know you hate Scrappy because you seem to hate small dogs. You hate small dogs. That's fine. You hate small dogs, and you hate small dogs.
He sucks.
Yeah, well, you hate small dogs.
He sucks.
And that's because you hate small dogs.
I get it, Ryan. He sucks.
Anyway.
Anyways, no, this is
I'm a little bummed out.
This issue, I would recommend that you read it because it is. what do you want to say? It's a nod to Scooby-Doo villain history, which is really cool. And then blend it a little bit with Batman. Commissioner Gordon, which what I really love about this is that you do get, so Batgirl is like the animated series Batgirl. Batman is like the Batman Adventures animated style.
So it's a pish posh.
And then Gordon is the animated series. And then Scooby-Doo, like the Mystery Inc., they're the classic TV series version. And then other villains that pop up from Scooby-Doo are the old from the TV series back in the day. So it's like it's a great blending of all of the different versions and different styles from different time periods. And I think this one is actually like one of the more fun ones that I've read recently. Like all of them kind of like together are in like the B range because it's easily digestible. It's fun. It's not really like playing with your mind and sitting with you long after the fact. But like this one, it was almost like the most entertaining of the past. I don't know how many issues. So I would recommend, check it out. Especially like you. If nothing else, you'll at least like the first page because it's a pup named Scooby-Doo.
All right, I'll see. I'll take a look at the comic shop.
Let's move along then.
Batman, I want a Scrappy and Robin issue. Like, can we get like? I just want Scrappy and
okay, so this would actually not be too bad. Have Scrappy and Damian.
No, I hate Damian.
I hate Damian, but I hate Scrappy, and both of them have egos.
Double negatives.
Yeah, make a positive always. So maybe in that issue, they're both fighting and they both die. I get some balls. Make that issue of a Scooby-Doo and Batman team up. That's what I want to see. All right, next Tuesday, Batman White Knight presents Generation Joker.
Zack Snyder Scrappy Doo.
Yes, give the people what they want. Pete, you can take the lead on this one since I've taken the lead on the previous two.
Dude, this book is absolutely bonkers. I love this thing. This is insane. The Joker's I want to call them the grandkids. The Joker's
the Joker's grandkids' parents.
Yeah,
parents.
The Joker's kids are really funny. I love all the it's the I don't know, like the heritage. I feel like it's just like a heritage issue. Like everyone's like got puppets of like, I don't know, their relatives and they're ready to take revenge. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like it's pretty crazy and twisted. Then you have Matt Reeves' Batmobile, which makes a cameo, right? Like you thought that was the Reeves car, didn't you?
The Batmobile that they're driving?
Yeah, that's definitely Reeves' car.
No.
You don't think so?
No. It was in last issue too, and I didn't think so. I think it's different.
You think so? I think it's who drew is it Murph drew this issue?
Murphy and Dolfo. The artist.
Okay.
No, I don't. Unless you're talking about the one that
right here in the beginning. I thought that was the Reeves car.
Hold on a second. Let me pop.
That was a take on the Reeves car.
No, because if you look underneath that, so in one angle it could seem that way, but that's a 4-seater. Reeves' car is a 2-seater at most.
Okay,
but then like you look at the backside of it, and I think it is. I don't. It does look. It looks different. I didn't take it as that. So if it is, then I'm wrong.
No, it's my bad then. I assumed it was Reeves' car. They just kind of put like a thing at the end, like maybe like a hood. They always take a little bit of their own liberties. I don't know. I thought it was cool though. Kowalski probably hates it. Probably thinks it needs something crazy.
Oh yeah.
But I like the Joker's kids. They're great, and this Ivy stuff was interesting, and just I'm just like amazed. This is like not many like Elseworld stuff. Well, now they call them Black Labels, but like not many Elseworld stuff like that continues on. Do I really dig? And this is like the exception. And just because it's so unique, it's not like he has such an interesting take on characters, and he puts them in different positions, but it's not like disrespectful. Like Agent Stewart and Prince. Like I was like, oh man, this is a different take. Like I wonder when he's going to become more Green Lantern-y, right? Like he's always wearing the green shirt and everything. The graveyard scene, I thought that was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Because then they're like, no, we don't need you, and then they do, and then it's just, I don't know, it's everything about it's just kind of compelling and just keeps you drawn in and invested. Like, where do they go from here? And by the end of the issue, they're the kings of the city.
which I think is interesting because Harley has been trying to keep the kids from knowing everything. It's kind of been trying to shelter them from information about Jack. And I mean, that is kind of the point of this I guess this story and this this journey that they're on, is because Jack's going to show them aspects of his life that they don't know about and stuff. So they are learning, they learn about where he, like the orphanage that he was at, the gravestone, which they see has been abused and vandalized and stuff. And then all of a sudden, like, they stand up to these thugs because they're, Joker fans, and then they end up saying of basically where it's almost like what Arthur Fleck wanted at the end of Joker, these kids got, of like, I'm the Joker, and everyone's like rallying around that because they love the symbol of the Joker and who the Joker is. It's like, oh my gosh, they're this is royalty. This is Joker's kids.
That's what they're going to do when Eric has kids.
With what?
That's what they're going to do when Eric has kids.
Oh yeah, he already has kids. He doesn't know it though. I think so. I like that, and then I'm curious how you're going to get Neo, Joker, and Harley. Like, I like that they're going to be on a mission together. I hope we return to, because I like the angle here of Scarface's daughter. It makes total sense. Not Scarface's daughter, ventriloquist's daughter. And the whole reason for her existing is because, like, Joker, you're the reason that my dad was killed, so now I'm going to take part of your family. I like that. I hope we go back to the funhouse, because I just thought that was like a fun set piece with all the puppets and stuff.
I love it.
And then, I mean, to add on to what you were saying about seeing how Diana Prince and Jon Stewart come more into play, I mean, you see that what Bruce is working on, but he's talking to somebody who's a chatterbox, and then you find out, oh, that's Agent West. Well, you know who that is. So that's also interesting too. They're
really bringing in the Justice League.
Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting, like, what that might lead to, or if that's just, some little nuggets to chew on for the time being and whatnot. So yeah, I think, and then Merca and Dolpho's art I really enjoy, and I like how there's like a dark kind of shading around all over the place that I don't know, that her designs really fit with the look of the White Knight universe, I think, while also making it seem like its own. It keeps it fun, but the dark coloring and shading, I think, keeps it feeling, some more mature. I actually, so I have an OCD problem that I like the cover art to match the interior art if possible. So I double dipped on covers this month because it's
how do you do that with being like a Liebermejo super fan?
I know exactly. The Joker Man Who Stopped Laughing has been, yeah. Anyways, so Murphy's cover I actually didn't love. This month.
Which was this one?
No, which was this one of Neo, Joker, and Poison Ivy.
Yeah, and I like this one with the puppets.
And so yes, I saw Andolfo's cover, the variant, which is what you picked up, and I loved that cover. Yeah. I did because in my collection it's going to bug me if all 6 issue covers are Sean Murphy, or 5 of the 6 are Sean Murphy, and then 1 was Merca. So I was just like, whatever. So yeah, double dip, but I really loved her cover.
It's very nice.
So anyways.
It's very like creepy, and it sets the tone, and it's, I think it's
all
perfect.
The little puppets of rogues.
My little penguin's there, which is like my favorite.
Yeah, your little Ozzy. Get you an Ozzy puppet. So yeah, big fan of Generation Joker still. Also, that Tuesday, Batman Superman, World's Finest, number 16. Not as hyped up on this one as I once was. It's fun. It goes there. It's not surprising that, like, Mark Waid goes there with a Batman Superman team up book. In no way, obviously, am I saying that it's bad or anything like that. It's just, it's he does a lot with these two. I
Yeah,
will
there's a lot to
flat
go.
out say that Dan Mora's art continues to impress and looks awesome. The coloring, which let me give a shout out to the Tamara Bonvillain, did coloring on here, and I think the coloring with Mora's art I think looks great. So that's all cool, but it's almost like this is a Justice League Unlimited disguised as or a Batman Superman book disguised as however you want to say it, Justice League Unlimited, with how many other characters they're fitting in and how crazy the story's getting. There's a lot of action.
It's very reminiscent to me of the Loeb super. I can't remember the order or Batman
Superman Batman. Loeb was on. It was Superman Batman.
It reminds me. It's very similar to that, if you ask me, because I think they're fun stories. Sometimes it takes my Batman into places I don't really like.
Yeah.
Sometimes it adds elements to my Batman that I don't enjoy him mixing it up with. But at the same time, they're really good, fun Justice League stories. I appreciate the young Dick Grayson aspect. That's what I love most about it. Bruce Wayne, Dick Grayson, Robin aspect. That's what's really kept me around. Mora's art's nothing short of brilliant. I don't mind it because this isn't in the main Batman title. I may drop this at some point, like when the story I don't like. I have no problem dropping it, but I've been enjoying it so far. I mean, Mora's art is stunning. His Flash is beautiful. Like it's like his Robin costume's great. His Amazo or Super Amazo or Krypton.
I like all the
it was all good.
designs.
Yeah, no, it was all good. And the Metal Man, it's far out there, yeah, but the good thing about Wade is like it'll be far out there for this story, then he'll kind of change it up the next story, and I think that's what keeps the book really fresh.
Yep. I'm trying to think what.
Ryan didn't read the book.
No, I didn't read the book. It's chapter 4. I think that there's been like they've done 5-issue arcs, so maybe it concludes the next one. I don't know because it does. Oh yeah, it does. At the bottom of the last page it says to be concluded. So there you go. So that's at least like you just said of keeping it feeling fresh is that it's not. This is a 12 issue. This is a 14 issue arc or anything like that. It's keeping it to where it is 5. And at this point, I'm like good because I think I'm good for this to wrap up next issue and then
like tell you like
move
I
on to something different.
After like 3 parts of a story, I start debating: do I like this? Do I want to keep it? Do I want to drop it? If
I remember you saying 5,
I'll usually say if it's at 5, I'll be like, I'll see it through. Because it's like by the time because if I like enough to get to 4, then why wouldn't I get to the end? But if it's like 8 or 10, you're like, oh my god, it's a whole year.
Batman, was it the last or the night or last night, whatever it was, the early Bruce story.
Oh god. Oh. Well, that book started out hot. Those first 2 issues when he was hanging out with that MILF, that was good stuff.
And then
after
after
they found the teeth,
I almost feel like this is a contemporary, almost like 50s era-ish story. It doesn't.
That's a good way to look at it.
It doesn't make it too twisted and dark. It's just like bringing in like fun and bright elements, but serious enough to keep you going. I don't know. It's fun. I'm not done with it. It's just I'm ready for. Let's see what the next arc's gonna be. So stick around one more month.
Let's see how this one ends. I think this one will end in a fun way. It's Wade, man. Like I've been reading Mark Wade for like 20 years, so like I'm not worried at all, to be honest with you. I know this is his DC resurgence. So
apparently,
which I believe started with Endless Winter, if I'm not mistaken. Did he write Endless Winter? Was he one of the guys who did that?
I don't think he did.
Who wrote Endless Winter? I feel like he was a writer who hasn't written for DC in a while.
I thought it was one of the. It's like Josh Williamson or something. Written by Andy Lanning. Andy Lanning and Ron Mars.
Oh, it was Ron Mars. Okay, so Ron Mars, yeah, he's another one who kind of like was gone from DC for a while and may just come back. That's why I got him confused.
Gotcha. All right, there we go.
Schmarzel.
Moving on along. We're going to the last Tuesday. All right,
Looks
Pete,
good.
keep that energy, keep that optimism, keep on singing as we talk
Oh,
Detective
baby.
Comics
Oh
1073.
no. Oh
Take it
god.
away, Peter.
Sucks all the fun out of everything. I didn't think this was bad. I kind of dug the issue because it made me feel like I was reading like a No Man's Land tie-in. Oh, destruction in the city, Batman underground fighting the villain as the caverns are, collapsing around them. Batman's got some good dialogue. He's talking some good smack. I got you right where I want you. Here we go, ready. And then all of a sudden, it turns into Goldface Bane, and I'm like, like I don't know, that's weird. Somehow this I don't know. This guy in this stupid electrical suit is able to just walk right into the clock bell tower and disable Oracle's computers, and she does nothing. But there's some good teases, like Ten-Eyed Man, who was just in like Arkham New World or whatever that book was called. He's making an appearance. Two-Face seems to be in play again, so we haven't seen him since a few issues. So like I'm excited to see what's going on there. Looks like Mr. Freeze, as well. There's some good Jim and Babs moments there, but like overall, like it's just like I don't care about this. Once this guy turns into like this hulking Bane like figure, I'm like whatever. And then Barbados makes an appearance, and I just I compared him to Krampus. Like that's what I look like when I think of that movie Krampus whenever I see that stupid Barbados thing. So like I don't know. It's got cool again. Like every issue of Detective Comics that Ruby has written, cool elements. The story overall sucks, but it's got cool elements involved in it. And Reese's artwork is really brilliant throughout. Even the stupid parts, like this hulking masculine thing, it's like whatever. Like I just it looks he drew it really well. Like this point of his story is so stupid, but the artwork's great. The action panels are good. They flow really easily. Batman looks amazing. His fighting is incredible. It's a well put together comic book from an artistic standpoint. So overall, I think I gave it like a C plus. Oh, the backup story is even worse. It's like the origin of the gold face guy and the six-eyed woman, and I'm like, these are the characters that are just ruining the story for me. So I want less of them, not more. So I'm just like, I'm out of this.
I totally with you on Ivan Reis's art on this. Really loved his art in this story. The art overall I thought was pretty good throughout. And that's I mean, I can't really say anything I haven't been saying. I'm just not enjoying it for like the story itself. I'm not enjoying. So I mean, I'll just leave it at that. Good art. Don't enjoy the story. So moving on.
When is this over? Do they give us any indication?
I have no idea.
And to be continued. Like I can't remember the last time I bought an issue of Detective Comics.
It's been a while for me.
Yeah. These are totally like 10 years dollar bins.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Meanwhile, Paul Herman's gonna be like, this is the best detective comic I've ever read. Yep. I'm like, what?
Well, you called Paul. I've had someone else tell me that they enjoyed it as well. And I said, well, good on you.
You enjoy it? Hey, I'm happy you enjoyed it.
Well, yep.
I'm just glad I can talk to Lauer and hate on it.
Yep. Yeah, because that's our favorite
really
thing.
Sucks.
Hate it. I don't like it. All right. Also that Tuesday.
Okay.
Batman The Adventures Continue Season 3.
Oh my God.
Issue 6. So first of all, I'm going to tell you that I loved the cover.
Oh my God. Is it a beautiful cover? The problem is the text ruins the cover.
I know.
The title, it's not title safe.
It's not.
I feel so bad for the artist because the cover is brilliant.
Yep. They should have done one of the, so, a variant cover is like the new Batman Adventures, where it's got Batman
the clean
in
cover
front of the moon and then the Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin.
Oh,
that
really?
should have been the made one with that big text across the top. And then the smaller text should have been on this main cover that has Ra's over Batman.
Yeah.
Although I guess if it's BTAS, it's Raish, isn't it?
Well, let's speak properly.
So, anyways, love that cover. The other covers are cool too, is like the title card, the offer part 1 that they've been doing, like title card covers for these, which have been awesome.
I haven't seen it at my shop. If I do, I will purchase them because
I wonder if they're the 125s, which are rare and expensive. I wonder if that's what it's been. Overall, like the issue though, and it's part 1 of a 2-parter. I love the issue.
Oh, it was amazing. It felt like an episode of BTAS. That was the best thing about it, is it felt like a real episode of BTAS, where the other ones felt like they were trying to make episodes of BTAS. This one fits in perfectly. The tone, everything is just masterful. I love the Tim Drake Bruce Wayne dynamic in this story. Tim's always trying to push Bruce to lighten up a little bit, even on vacation and everything, and Bruce just won't have it. Like, who goes to Bruce is like, I'm going to on vacation. I'm gonna still go trucking these models. I'm gonna go lift weights.
Yeah.
like, I'm just dying. I can't.
I mean, seriously, it's Tim and Bruce, the only
Tim's
two
like,
guys
get
at
it
the
in.
pool. Yeah. And Bruce is like, well, I'll just stay here in my, I don't know, my hey dudes and my tucked in polo and my shorts, some sunglasses. And yeah, I mean, like, oh boy. But hey, that's Bruce Wayne for you. His mind's on the mission. But yeah, I love everything that you said. We get a nice fight. There's the only Batman is the first page screenshot on a phone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the only, or nope, sorry. The panels leading up to that. And so, like, that's it, but it's setting up for, he's gonna suit up in the next one, but like, I love the intercut with somebody's being chased in the sewers.
Yes.
You get a little Montoya and Bullock,
which I thought was funny.
Yeah, which I thought, entertained by that as well. And then, and Talia shows up, or Talia's the one unmasked herself, fought Bruce.
I love it.
Everything. Like, everything I think just works. And then it's an old man Roz. And
yes, it's
the way that he got Bruce in the submarine, I think was pretty damn good too.
Who reviews this book for BLF? Is this a hobby joint?
Mm-hmm.
Lucky bastard.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys switch? That's why he can
call dibs.
Why
don't you switch? You have to review Detective.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
There you go. Switch that.
I was thinking about you. Sorry.
But no, and then I don't know, it leaves us in a good spot as far as, Selina's being chased, and then you're going to get some Gotham City sirens in this universe, because she crashes in on Poison Ivy and Harley, and then it's the Court of Owls that were chasing her. Meanwhile, you've got Bruce underwater with the Al Ghul. So, like, I don't know, it leaves in a good spot where, I'm pretty sure this series, it was announced as being a 7-issue one. So that means that this is going to conclude next issue. So I don't know. I love this one. After, I forget what the 4-parter was called that we wrapped up last month.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I thought was just that was just fine to me.
Right? Was that Joker and Straight Man?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
It was fine for me. This rebounds it. So I really look forward to next month's issue. Good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, Peter, Batman the Brave and the Bold, #2. This, I think you're being sarcastic.
No, I'm being serious.
You're serious? Oh my God, I love.
I know
this
you and everyone
Batman
else.
Joker story.
I love it. Great. This whole thing, I'm protesting this book. I'm not buying this book. This book's bullshit. Batman Brave and the Bold. It's a Justice League book. It's just Brave and the Bold. Stop mistitling it. I'm not buying it. Set $8 for one story. I'm sorry, I can't. The other stories aren't good. I'm not going to give it to you.
You didn't enjoy the short at the end?
I don't know.
All things considered, the 8-page from Joel Jones.
Yeah, actually, I did. That's probably the best thing actually about the book, but still not enough for me to spend $8 on it. So,
so this is where people are going to get the good stuff. Pete and I are at opposite ends.
That's it. I will be honest with you about every anthology book they print, and I'm going to be brutally honest about this one.
I did not I did not read Stormwatch or Superman last month. I did not read those this month. So now, for what's the price point on this? Is it $8?
It's $8. It's $7.99.
$8 for 30 pages. That's too much for me.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I love this Batman the Winning Card, which is the Batman Joker story. I hope that gets collected. I hope that it remains good to me. Remains good till it wraps, and then it's collected, and I can buy that collection, which will end up being cheaper than buying 6 issues of Brave and the Bold. I love the the winning card story from King and Garrett's, retelling basically, and with a little bit more in depth, a little bit more like it's a little bit more depraved, it's scarier, a little bit more terrifying Joker. I love all of
The art's very
that
good.
that's being done here. I don't remember if it was in this issue or the last one where Joker with the little girl and he's like hiding behind the chair.
Mm.
It might have been the first one. I don't know. But I like how he's drawn and like the coloring for the Joker
No, Mitch
panels and
crushes it.
stuff
Yeah.
is it's great. Like I don't know. I love it. And so I don't care, as bad as it sounds. I don't care about the Stormwatch and Superman stories because like, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I'm reading Batman. That's what I want to read is Batman. I know Pete loves to say I don't get out of Gotham. But I just I love the text being like the stylistic choice of the text being on these cards of like old silent films.
Mhm.
I don't know. I love the aesthetic. I like the story. I like the vibe, the atmosphere. I'm a big fan of what's cooking for that story. So bummer, Pete, that are you not as high on the story, or do you not like the
I thought the
fact
story
of what
was
they're
kind of
doing with the anthology?
it's both. I think the
Yeah,
story's a little
okay.
overhyped. I'm just like, yeah, the original story's fine. This is, the story itself is just kind of like, okay, I've been here. I already know how this ends. It's just like, it actually kind of reminds me of like when I talk about Spider-Man Blue, Paul Herman's like, just read the original story. Like, why are you reading this? Like, kind of
Screw you,
combined.
Paul
Yeah.
Herman. I love Spider-Man Blue.
Oh, I do too. It's probably my favorite Spider-Man story, but it's the same thing. It's like the same effect. Like, oh yeah, I've already read this before. I know this ends. I know it's a little more detailed, but like, I don't know. I'm not gravitating to it the way most people are. So, and then
Gotcha.
you put it in this anthology format with these other stories, which I don't think are good, and you charge me $8 for it. So I'm just not buying it. Like after the first one, I was like, all right, I know what you're doing here, and I don't like it.
Well, the other addition here is the Joel Jones black and white story at the end.
Which I would buy
first,
art from. Like, oh my god, I buy pages of that.
yeah. So the first page, I mean, what do they put on a pedestal here is the '89 Batmobile with the other vehicles, and that looks great. But I mean that's a damn good Batcave, good Batman, like that story. And yeah, it is just like a quick one. It's like, oh, so it's called Scars. Did I just miss?
Well, because
Yeah, so
like
so
takes
it
inspiration
says
from
all
the
things
Alex Ross.
considered on the front when it breaks down what stories are included. It says all things considered, but then you actually get to the story at the end and it's called Scars. So I don't know.
Yeah, I like it.
Scars makes more sense, but I don't know. I really like that one too. But anyways,
It's just not.
I think your point stands on your point stands, I think, in you could justify your Urban Legends purchasing more so because that at least had two
that
quote
usually
unquote
average
issues,
like one story I didn't like. Yeah,
at least like two issues included in every issue, which if you break that down even more, then you are getting your money's worth. Here, if it's only one, you're paying $8 for a 22-page story. That's overpriced.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get that. For me, I'm all about this for that Joker and Batman story, and then if they can include good black, like last month, the short at the end was Dan Mora writing and drawing. Here it's Joel Jones. I hope that continues next month with another person doing something Batman. But I think it's totally valid, the point that you're bringing up. Finally, this is an interesting one. The Riddler Year 1, Issue 5. When I talked to you, actually, even yesterday, I said I hadn't read this yet, and you were like, it's interesting. And that's all you said about it. So why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Yeah, like this kind of like this reads to me like I'm reading like Kurt Cobain's journal.
Yeah.
Like if you ever read that, like it's kind of like that. It's like it's more like ideas than anything else. It's not really it really takes you inside. It's like his scrapbook until like the very end. It really leads you into what created the Riddler. And that's like, this is one of the most detailed origins about a villain that we've ever seen that didn't involve really much action. Like, it's just kind of like his everyday life up until like his breaking point. And it's been pretty interesting. It's been really like sad, and you can see what has created this individual. I don't think I've ever read anything like it. It's I say, if you don't like, what is it, like prose, like it's probably more comparable to that than an actual comic book.
It makes me think of in the halfway point of, remember the Joker Harley Criminal Sanity? Like the middle was just like a comic of Harley's case files.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that. So it's almost like it should be deemed as like, to me, as almost like an extra rather than a chapter of the book in my mind. Trey Jackson, who's been on this show before, we know, we've met, talked to plenty of times. He writes reviews on Batman on Film for this, and he did a really good job on this issue in particular, and bringing up the point of like, as a, in 2 months, like 2 months of, after 2 month wait, we get this, and then we're waiting 2 more months till the ending. It's kind of like, I don't know, but maybe collected in that hardcover trade, it's gonna work better.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of interesting parts to this. Overall, I'm kind of like, I'd have rather had a continuation of like the story as we've been getting, but I don't think that this was bad at all either, because it gave a lot of like interesting insight in a unique way, in an original way, and it's, I don't know, it's his journal, and it's, I mean, the whole thing is just making you play through elements of the movie, right? Connecting the stuff
There's
with
really
the
cool
movie.
parts.
So,
There's photos of like of the commissioner, and he's got a picture of him. He's like, join the gym for the commissioner. Like, you could see he's like, I like how he's like drafting things and figure things out. That's why like I love the Batman saga, because I think it's so complete, between
yeah.
prequel novel, movie, comic book tie-in, Penguin TV spinoff, and then we get the second movie. I haven't fallen off the Batman hype train because of stuff like this, and
Yeah.
I think what everyone's doing is really involved. It is brilliant, and especially since Dano's writing it, that's even more impressive. I like this. Like, I get what you're saying. It's kind of like an extra, but like, I think it's fascinating to really take a dive into the Riddler's mind, and this just shows like how twisted he is. Like, I feel like one of the cops, like, hey, Lieutenant, he's got no gloves. What do you want to do with this? Like, I feel like I'm reading the evidence. Like, it's
evidence.
yeah, it's cool. It's like, oh, he's got gloves. He's got gloves. So I'm like, I'm into it, man. I like this a lot more than I thought I was going to. I thought this was a lot of fun. Kowalski, I hate it.
Yeah, so it's I'm definitely not panning it. It's just, I think, to be honest, I think I would have liked more of like the comic element, but yet I'm not against this. And then when the collection comes out and I read through it again, I think it's going to add more to it overall than how
I'm gonna
I
have
got it this time. So
I'd love a hardcover for the Batman shrine.
the
that I'm
Batman
building.
shelf, the shrine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's gonna be centered around that popcorn cowl that Rob Byers was able to get me a couple years
There
ago.
you go. Yep.
Oh, and then I'll put my McFarlane's and all my things. No Ookses in this display.
Yeah.
No Ookses.
That's going to be the villain in part 2. Zooxes.
I think Bill would burn down Burbank.
He burned down everything.
This is it. This is a lie.
I'm done. Shout out also that came out on June 27th this month, became available to buy as Absolute Batman 3 Jokers. Pete and I have already placed our orders. Can't wait for
purchased. And if we did it on in-stock trades, it was half off, so I only spent 50.
It was a hell of a deal.
Yeah.
Pete, this is the time now. Let's shoot through a great segment.
Batman!
I'm going to go first, because I always do. Back to normal with the Joker, the man who stopped laughing, got a Bermejo cover. I don't know that there's any more covers coming from Bermejo for this, though. This one, I remember he always posts each one on his Instagram.
Let me see. What's it look like?
He's in jail cell, mouth open.
That's classic
torn.
Lee. That's classic
It's good
Lee.
stuff. Another interesting chapter, another fun story. Matthew Rosenberg, that guy knows what he's doing.
God, is this man brilliant?
Dia Giandomenico.
DDG?
Really cool. It teases. What really stinks is that we aren't going to get to continue this story for 2 months. because I don't think the Night Terrors. You read it, so say nothing spoilery. I haven't read it yet. The
It
Night
does not
Terrors
continue
one.
with this story. No.
Okay, didn't think so.
That's all,
Carmen
that's all I'll
Diaz,
say.
Carmen DG.
CDG.
It's great because it's building toward a confrontation finally between the fake Joker and the real one. Yeah, I
Do you think the
mean,
build-up's
good
been
issue.
too long, or do you think it's been the right amount of time?
I think this is about the right amount of time.
I'm
Maybe an
with you.
issue sooner, but also
Mm.
like I wasn't impatient knowing that this one ends and it's like, okay, it's coming. Like, cool.
Yeah.
And then I, of course, give me Francesca Francavilla on the backup, and I loved the backup. Got oh my gosh, was it Skeleton Key, which was the story in Black Mirror, doing that side profile look of Gordon's, like Francavilla does so freaking perfect.
Did you get like Bolin vibes from this backup?
No, I didn't think about it.
I kind of get like Bolin vibes.
Interesting. This is one of my favorite shorts, I think, of these backup stories.
It's so unique.
Yeah,
It's because the way it ends. I was like, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
No,
Great
I love
issue.
the story. I think dude, like I am so into Rosenberg. I mean, I forgot Jason Todd was a major figure in this story just because, it's been a while since I read it. But
It's been a while.
Yeah. I love this story. I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait to find out who the real Joker is. I like Killer Croc's involvement. I don't know, like I'm so curious. Like this, whoever the fake Joker is, he's doing a great job because I can't figure it out. I honestly can't. Like the way they talk,
either.
their mannerisms, like the way they're drawn, I honestly can't figure it out. So I'm dying to find out who it actually is. And yeah, just oh man, it's so great. I bought the main cover. I love the main cover, Gotham or Bust. Like I did. No disrespect to Lee, but I like that for that main cover there. With the guys and the car and everything, it just fits with the issue. Maybe it's like my Lauer moment. Like this cover perfectly goes into whatever happened in the book. And I love the Joker's henchman too, like at least the car Joker. Like
the guy, he's like this dead guy. He's like, no, and he's like, where are we going? Ah!
Yeah,
like I can see that playing out to a good comedy beat in like a movie or TV show or something. Also, let's see, Poison Ivy number 13. Poison Ivy is finally back in Gotham. We get some Batman action here, which I think was cool. Drawn by Kelly Jones. Like they have multiple artists on this, and Kelly Jones got that part, which I really enjoyed. Yeah, it's basically starting like a new chapter in this now ongoing series by her being back in Gotham City, and then she tracks down. I thought she was going to track down Swamp Thing, just given that it was a total a slaughter swamp, but it actually ended up being Killer Croc. And creates a deal with him and how she wants the space, and I mean it sets the table for what's to come. And yeah, I thought it was a fun issue and a good starting point. If you haven't been reading this, it's been consistent. Book's been fun. This starts a new arc essentially.
I think this is one of the best books about a villain getting a main title. Right, like it's kind of like Denny O'Neil said at one point it was impossible to write like a Joker series because he's got to get caught every issue,
basically by their restrictions at the time.
Yeah. So like it's just, and it's always kind of been tough to write from the villain's perspective. But Ivy kind of toes that line, a la Catwoman and Harley, where sometimes she's a criminal, sometimes she's not, sometimes she does it for best interest, and you can play it up a bit. And I think Willow Wilson does a wonderful job with that. She makes Ivy such a likable character. Like like you're kind of at this point, like the Birds of Prey, or not Birds of Prey, I'm sorry, the Gotham City Sirens really have become like this likable group of just like, like, all right, so like every once in a while they do something stupid, but overall like they sell really well. And I've been reading Catwoman and Harley for years, so like I'm happy Ivy's finally getting some, some print love, because she's one of my favorite villains. And let's be brutally honest, it's definitely because of Batman and Robin.
Of course,
as being
always.
a kid, like those core villains of those movies are a big part of my childhood, so I always love those guys. And it's cool seeing Ivy interact with Croc, and I'm sure the Floronic Man will play a part in this at some point. And there's no way that they're done with those two characters. So I can't wait to see it. You always throw in Harley and Ivy and things are just going to get crazy. So I love this book. I can't wait. It's actually better than the regular Harley book at the time. So
There you
I
go.
would see, if in my opinion, I would be reading Poison Ivy and a Harley Quinn.
Well, there you go.
There you go. That's it.
From
Yeah.
Pete himself.
Oh, fine. Okay, fine. Okay. Well,
Well, I don't read the Harley book, so I can't.
of course you
put
don't.
him on
It's
that
the only
way.
book in Gotham you don't read.
It's still funny,
Oh,
Peter.
hey, by the way, did you read
Sorry.
this cowboy zombie book I read? It was great. I was like, okay, it's fine, Ryan. I'm
Exactly.
reading-
Didn't take
Yeah.
place in Gotham. Did you read it, Peter? God, Peter,
Like,
you
no,
only,
no,
you only
Ryan.
stick to tights. Capes and tights.
That's all, you're damn right.
Um,
Why do you think I'm here? If I
I
read other
also
books, I
read
wouldn't be on the show.
issue 2 of Tom Taylor's Titans book. Thought they did a little bit of a bait and switch in how the last issue ended and how this one opens, and then all of a sudden it's not like they necessarily, but it serves the whole issue, which is why I feel like
Lauer's
it's not
not
a
happy.
cheat. Which I feel like it's not a cheat. In dealing with Wally West. I think the mission that the Titans go on, I thought was done pretty well. There, it's heroic, but Beast Boy, like, he goes full Hulk, which was kind of fun. The reason he does is not fun. Whether animals are alive or not, it's sad when they die.
There's Titans meet
except for Scrappy Doo. Yeah, I
Scrappy.
what we're about to talk, the next one we're going to talk about, I like a lot more than this, but this still does enough that I'm interested to keep reading.
Does Titans qualify for the Batman book club?
Yeah, because it's Dick Grayson as Nightwing. He's a friend of Batman.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Is he not?
I mean, so Superman. We talk action.
I say Batman. You've brought up Superman before. You talked about the Superman Lost.
Bruce Wayne was a big factor in that. But that's why we only talk about one issue.
Okay. Well,
I actually didn't read Titans. The budget. There's a budget, and Titans is affected by the budget.
That's what I mean. I don't know also if I like how the third issue. So there are 3 in that it'll be a little telling next month. That if I still feel like, it's fun, then
I'll say something a little
stop.
controversial. Tom Taylor's Nightwing didn't blow me enough away to read Tom Taylor's Titans.
Didn't blow you enough. My goodness.
Whoop.
That's why I did give Titans a shot. So let's talk Nightwing, because that's the next one. Nightwing 105.
Mm-hmm.
I loved this one.
No, this was a good issue.
Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo do, like, that's when this book is the best. So they did a Titans arc. The last, I don't know how many issues, at least 4, I think, were all about, like, basically setting up for a Titans book, where I'm just like, this just reeks of setting up for something else. Give me what you guys have been doing. This one is a total first person perspective throughout the whole thing, which I thought was fantastic.
I love the
art,
POV.
fantastic, so detailed of as he's gliding through the city. Him and Babs suits up as well, so of course I love the Nightwing and Barbara or Batgirl stuff.
How could you
and
not?
Then, like, the reflection on the buildings is drawn so well too, so it's just like,
I like the subway stuff or the train stuff.
Yeah, the train stuff was awesome. So Bruno Redondo, like, give him, like,
he's been really creative in the story. He's been the best thing. Again, everyone's raving about Taylor, but I think Redondo is actually the one you need to talk about, because his artwork, whether it's
is so good.
Covers flowing into just a gigantic canvas, right, or this POV type stuff, like, he does stuff that's really creative and not really not really mainstream. Like, I don't think I've ever read an issue like this.
And let me tell you something. I don't know whose idea it was to all of a sudden crash into Dunder Mifflin, but I applaud it. I'm here all day for it. I don't know if you're a fan of The Office.
I love The Office. Yes, I do.
Okay. So, yeah, as soon as that first panel, when they crashed into the building, I saw Dwight right away, and I'm like, I don't know, that's really yellow hair. But then I looked, and Phyllis was on the left side. I'm like, oh, shit, there's Phyllis. And then up there, oh, there's Creed. Oh, there's Kelly. Oh, there's Jim. Oh, there's Michael. Oh my gosh, there's Stanley.
I totally didn't notice that till now.
Really?
Yeah,
well, that's where, because of course Comic Book Resources did a story on this.
There's
and of course their headline was written as clickbait, and of course with people not reading it had tons of things to say. So of course it was just kind of like a bunch of loud noise. This is how something like this should be done. This can age like a fine wine, whether people watch The Office or not, because it's first person perspective, crashing in to an office building and running through and disrupting an office to get on an elevator, and then has like a funny moment real quick with the line, and then gets out of the elevator. It's not like, hey, that's what she said. Hey, it's The Office. Hey, Michael Scott. Well, hi there. I'm here. Or anything like that. It's just like, if you're aware of The Office, they're just running through The Office. and like the story continues, and I loved it. The story, like,
That is
I'm
totally
not gonna
Rashid
I'm not gonna dump on the story at all because Tom Taylor does a consistently good job with Nightwing.
It's good.
But I'm with
It's
you
good.
of this is an exhibition for Redondo because yet again he does something very unique with the art, and the look of his art itself I think is unique and stand out. And then but now here the approach of first person's perspective throughout the whole thing is another added bonus. So yeah, the issue gets like an A from me because of the style.
I'll give you that. I'll agree to that.
So there you go. And that separates it a lot from Titans. So where like I'm gonna keep reading Nightwing. I have since Taylor signed on because this team has done really cool things with this book. And that's what'll keep me coming back to it. Lastly, I'm including Wonder Woman number 800 because there is a section in that where
I was
Diana
wondering why that
visits-
was included in the rundown.
where Diana, well, Pete, there is Uxas in this, but also there's a nice chunk that is Diana visiting Bruce.
When does that come out? I don't even think I bought it.
It came out on the 20th.
Mm.
But it is
I
like
might have missed it.
it's almost like Diana seeing his constant pain, helping him through that, and it's almost like it could almost have played as like part of the night terrors, it seems. And then Bruce ends up waking up and he's kind of like appreciative of Diana. So there's like a good camaraderie there and stuff. And she experiences like what's going on in Bruce's head, and it is the reliving of his parents getting murdered and the pain and stuff like that. So that's why I included Wonder Woman 800. And then at the very end, it's a setup for King's book. Because it is, I want to say like the young Trinity, but it's got Jonathan as Superman, Damian as grown up Batman, and then the new character, who's the daughter that was announced it's going to be in.
Oh, I forget Diana's daughter's name. I know you're talking. Okay.
Yeah, and like the
I have
image,
to,
it's part of the variant. It's like her standing on the rock. I think
don't seem to have
that's
that.
that's leading into the Tom Taylor.
I'm gonna have to email my
series that's
comic
coming up,
book
so.
guy. Why wasn't this on the pull list, dude?
So yeah, that's why I included Batman 800 because Wonder Woman 800 because there was Batman present in it. So take it away, Pete. I'm done.
Well, not to create drama. No, that's not what you hear. But I went and I did a little Lee Bermejo shopping. I out Bermejo.
Hey, look at you.
I checked out Joker Uncovered.
Uh-huh.
Now, this was really interesting to me because usually when they do these overpriced things and they stick Lee on the cover and they do something like this, it's nothing but covers that you've already gotten. It's just kind of like, hey, look, this is what we've kind of published. And Lee's kind of done a book like that that's similar to this, but this is actually a comic book. The Joker kind of takes you on a tour of covers, and he kind of has like a little discussion and punchlines involved. So it's not bad. It's priced at $6. And I think it's cool because you do get a lot of cool stuff. You see a lot of cool things you haven't seen in a while. And some of them and most of them are variant covers. So you probably haven't seen them at all. It's cool. There's a lot of Bermejo in here. As you can see, Man Who Stopped Laughing
so.
11. Take that, Lauer. I hit Lauer this week.
Number 1. Man Who Stopped Laughing, number 1. Not
It's
11.
11. Okay, it's still number 1. I read it. Give me a break. You're such a dweeb. Anyway, this is a lot of fun. I really liked it. The comic books, the little comic portions are cool. The back and forth between Joker and Punchline are great. If you're a Punchline fan, I think she's been wonderful. So that was a lot of fun for me. Also, Batgirls ended at issue 19. This has been probably the best Bat book consistently since probably
Since the last
2.5
consistent one.
Well, no. In the last 2 years, they've been the best Bat book overall, I think. Just a lot of fun with the girls rallying around people, the girls and the people rallying around them as they find their villain and they take them down. And it just ends really cool. It was a fun dynamic. The community aspect was really great. Seeing Stephanie and Cassandra Bond was good. Seeing more Babs in the Watchtower was fun. It is a really fun book. It is aimed towards probably a younger female audience, but I didn't really get vibes that it would put off, an older guy like myself, so it's a really fun Bat book. And I think you should all read it. A Harley book that I really love is Multiversity. Harley Screws Up the DC Universe. Right now, I've said this pretty much every month. Harley Quinn and this book are doing the exact same thing. But this is a lot of fun. I really suggest you guys check that out. And also Catwoman 56, really cool stuff. Just lots of fighting, lots of criminal activity. Catwoman, it's like it feels almost kind of, I want to say brew bakery. Like it's just like it's not like the most amazing Catwoman you ever read, but it's still like great Catwoman. It's not just good. It's a really good Catwoman story. I know Black Mask gets teamed against Catwoman a lot, but this is still like it doesn't feel old or wasted or anything. It still has a like fresh vibe that you read it, when they first started going at each other years ago. So I really dig it. I think that's well worth your time too if you're a Batman fan. I've been trying to get Lauer to read some Catwoman for years. He refuses to. I think he hates women. But
Wow.
Small Dogs and Women,
Whoa,
Lauer
that's
hates.
quite a leap.
That's not a leap.
Starting to sound like somebody on Twitter. Jeepers. That's a great note to end on, isn't it?
Lauer hates small dogs and women.
Gosh. Can't wait to have you back on, Pete. There we go.
I'd like to have Peter back on because he enjoys insulting me.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like, why are they laughing?
Decent.
These guys are idiots.
What was your favorite issue of this month?
Ooh. Can I say absolute 3 Jokers? I'm gonna surprise you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna totally surprise you. It's Riddler Year 1.
Ah, yeah, that is a surprise.
Yeah, out of everything I read, it's because it's like I said, like I've had this Batman hype, and I don't know if the Flash continued it just because it's Batman in that movie, but I've had the Batman hype for so long now, where it feels like the ride's never ended. It's like, oh, like it's like, all of a sudden it's like, oh, Riddler Year 1's in my pull list. Like, oh my god, I'm still on this ride. Like I haven't gotten off yet.
Yeah.
So that's it's and then I can revisit this little kids book, or I can rewatch the movie, and then I'm excited whenever I get to see Penguin. So it was just very interesting to me seeing what's inside that man's mind. So
sweet.
Man,
it's hard for me to choose honestly between Generation Joker #2 and Brave and the Bold #2. I guess I'd maybe have to give Generation Joker the edge because that is from beginning to end I enjoyed it. Whereas Brave and the Bold, I read just the Batman stuff.
I'm surprised Brave and the Bold was up there for you. For me, Generation Joker was close #2, followed by Adventures Continue 6. Those are my top 3 if I had to pick 3.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff for
good stuff,
you,
Peter. All right. Well, hey,
what's this shirt you got on here? Is that a 66 Batmobile?
It is. It was a gift from Mamira.
Batman,
very
Steve Helm of you.
He's like modeling on the 66 mobile. It was a birthday present. Love this shirt. Great design. tpublic.com.
Do you ever like when you guys go out? Do you ever model like on your car wearing that T-shirt? Does she ever like, get the message?
Always.
Yeah, because you got a McConaughey look, All right.
Oh yeah, and that's me. People get me confused, much like people get Holzman confused with Jason Momoa. Like
nobody gets. First of all, Momoa is not nearly as handsome as Holtzman. No, let's be honest. Yeah. Momoa, like, come on, give me a break.
All right, gotcha. Pete, why don't you go ahead?
A shower.
Well, thanks for coming back on. And why don't you go ahead and plug away, talk about that Straight Outta Gotham podcast that you and the Champion do.
Well, if you want to follow me on social media, my main profiles are Twitter, Instagram, and Zack Snyder's favorite platform, Vero. That's at Pete Illustrated. You can follow said podcast with Champion of Long Island, Eric Holzman, at straight_O_G. That's Straight Outta Gotham. We have a Facebook group and a Facebook fan page. Consider following and joining both. A lot of good stuff there. You can follow my Spider-Man podcast I do with a various group of people, the Italian Spider-Man Coalition podcast, at Italians for Spidey. On Twitter, I'm all over BatmanOnFilm.com and Batman on Film YouTube with toy reviews and interviews and comic book reviews. And if you want to hear me just spew toxicity about Detective Comics every month, you can check that out. So Ryan, why don't you take it away there?
All right. Follow Pete in all those places. I think he's on stuff that you thought got shut down 10 years ago. He's on there.
Live Journal. I'm on AIM. I'm on AIM, bro.
You can follow the Batman Book Club if you aren't already on Twitter and Instagram at the Batman BC for latest episode drops, upcoming episodes, and sometimes even some giveaways, which there'll be one soon. Also, make sure to subscribe to the Batman Book Club's YouTube channel, where me and this Italian frolicker right here have completed the Road to No Man's Land. All 8 parts of that are up on YouTube, and we're going to be dipping into No Man's Land in July. So check us out there. If you want to support the Batman Book Club, there's a variety of ways you can do that. Number 1, patreon.com/thebatmanbc. Number 2, tpublic.com. In the search engine, type TBBC for the Batman Book Club. Find some great merchandise with this great logo created by Justin Kowalski, and slap it on notebooks, t-shirts, hoodies, onesies for your little ones. But if you want to support the show and you don't want to spend any money at all, that's 100% a-okay. The quickest, cheapest, and most impactful thing you can do is rate and review the show. So wherever you listen to it on podcasts, so Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Google Play, iHeartRadio, wherever, go to the rate and review page and rate and review the show. Because the more reviews the show gets, the more it helps spread the word. And as we all know, the word is panic. Panic. So, for Peter Verra, I am Ryan Lauer. And until next time, read my Batman comics.